The stupidest tax you can pay. This is what we're going to talk about here today on the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. I'm going to save you boatloads of money by telling you how to avoid the dumbest tax there possibly is. And I hate to say it, but I don't think many people understand this. It's called buying the dividend. And we'll dive into that here in just a second. So welcome to the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, my friends. The place you come to learn how to reduce taxes and save your money and retire successfully without the worries of, oh my goodness, Trump or Obama, and just to relax. It's going to be okay. We'll get you through. So if you like what you see here, please subscribe down below. Yes, I'm not in my Sunday best here for this video today. I was actually in the middle of my studio slash workout area, the unfinished part of our basement. And I was in the middle of doing some exercise, and I said, oh man, I just an epiphany. You tell me there's no such thing as a Holy Spirit? Well, something popped in my head, and it said, you got to do this video on buying the dividend. And I said, man, that is wonderful. So I was trying to do some more exercise, and now I got to get this done. So if you're wondering, I haven't shaved or anything yet. In fact, the nice thing about having short hair, you can just go like that and you comb it without doing anything. So if I'm looking all out of sorts, bear with me. This will be worth it because we're going to save you a boatload of money, even if I'm not in my hoity-toity suit like a professional stockbroker is. So let's dive right into it. So I want to get my pen. All right, here we go. All right, so the concept here. It's December 15th, and your company said, man, Josh, you are awesome. We're going to give you a $100,000 bonus. All right, I'm like, sweet, I got a $100,000 bonus. What should I do with that money? And so I said, well, I'm a big fan of AIVSX, which is the Investment Company of America mutual fund. And you shouldn't buy it. I don't care. I'm not making a recommendation. I'm just using it because as a track record, as a large cap value mutual fund going back to the 1930s. And look, it's plain vanilla, 3-star rating. It's not appropriate for everybody. It's probably not appropriate for you. So do not take this as a solicitation. Don't care. I'm just using it because it's a good stock fund that I want to show you that pays dividends and why you need to be careful of buying the dividend. So I said, okay, I'm going to buy AIVSX. Right now the price is $42.57. So instead of spending my money on a new car or a fancy suit, I'm going to go ahead and invest it in the income of the Investment Company of America. And I'm just going to say I already own it, and so there is no commissions or anything, just to keep it simple, stupid. So I got my $100,000. The price right now, 12/15/17, is $42.57, which means after I invest my $100,000, I'm going to get 2,349 shares. So I get another 2,349 shares on top of whatever else I had if I had anything before. All right, now this also happens to be the day they're paying a dividend. I'm like, sweet, I get the dividend as well, so that's good. They'll just add to my wealth, right? All right, so the dividend is $2.49 a share they paid on 12/15/2017. So we take my dividend amount, which is $2.49, times by the number of shares I have, and I have total income of that dividend of $5,849.18. So I'm like, sweet, I just made $5,849.18 on my $100,000. That's like a 5.6% rate of return, right? Right. Now, my tax on that is 15% because it's going to consider it a qualified dividend. In the American funds, there might be a few non-qualified dividends, but mostly it's going to be qualified dividends. So I think it's safe to say it's 15%. So on my $5,849 of income I made on that dividend, I'm going to net after taxes $4,971. So keep that in the back of your mind, $4,971. We're going to erase all this, $4,971. I want to keep the number of shares out there, 2,000. So bear with me while I write this. We got shares, 2,349.07. All right. And we made $4,979. All right. So net income, $4,971. Okay. Now, let's put that up there for the time being. All right, now my wife, Charlotte, who's smarter than me, said, you should have waited to buy that stock fund until the following day after it paid its dividend. And now she also has a $100,000 bonus. And she said, I'm going to wait until after the dividend is paid. And the day the dividend is paid made the price go down to $40.35. Price, $40.35. And this is 12, was that 16? Yeah, 12 12/18. All right, so they paid it on a Friday. 12/18/17. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing is going to happen here. All right, so she said, I'm going to use my bonus, and I'm going to instead wait until the following trading day after the dividend pays out, and I'm going to buy my shares at $40.35 because the price has gone down. In fact, we know for a fact the price will go down. So in this case, she's saying $100,000 divided by 40.35 is 2,478 shares. 2,478 0.314 shares. All right. Now, that's what she has. So let me write that down because I need to keep this organized so I can understand it. So basically, I have 2,349 shares. She has 2,478.314 shares. Okay, actually, we can just do that. That'll make it easier. So now let's erase this. All right, so now we know that the price on both is $40.35. All right, so each 2,349, 2,478. We both know for a fact at the end of 12/16 or 12/18 in this case, it trades at 40.35. So now what we do is we take our trusty calculator and we say this side right here, 2,349 shares times 40.35 will give us $94,782. I'm not going to do the pennies. Plus our net income of $4,971, which gives us $99,756. $99,756 total. Now, you know where I'm going with this, I imagine, right? We take this times that, and that's going to give us, imagine, right at $100,000, right? So we take 2478.314 times 40.35, $100,000. So what happened here is I actually lost $244 by buying the dividend because of taxes. Where my wife, she waited one more day. She didn't lose any money by buying the dividend. And this is the stupidest thing you can do because you're basically, when you buy a dividend, you're buying a tax burden that you're going to have to pay. And we know what happens to every stock, every fund that's out there. When they pay an interest or a dividend, the following day the price drops by the amount of interest or the dividend. This is not debatable. This is absolutely financial planning, investment management 101. Any investment guy with a Series 6, which a Series 6 is like easy to get, anyone can get a Series 6, would know this. They'll train this. I got my Series 6 in 97, 98, something like that. They'll train you to any of that. Do not buy the dividend because you're paying taxes for an investment. If you just waited the following day, you wouldn't have to pay for it because the price per share of the investment will drop by the amount of the dividend. This is factually, there's just no debate this here. Don't buy the dividend because you're going to lose money. In fact, we can see, I thought I was smart by buying the dividend, and I'm down in value. My wife said I'm going to wait one day, and she's going to be at $100,000 and we'll be even. I mean, that's all. There's no other. That's how it works. And so you got to look out as you're going to buy something. You want to find out what the ex-dividend day is. That means the day, I think, was that the day is the ex-dividend. The terminology escapes me because it's been so long, so I had to remember all that stuff. But you want to make sure, I think the ex-dividend day is when you're not the owner of record for when they pay the dividend. That's what you want. You want to buy it, you got to call your brokerage firm or whatever, or even just before you put a trade, understand when the ex-dividend day is. But you got to make sure that you are not the owner of record when that dividend gets paid, because if you are, you're going to lose share price and you're going to pay tax on the money for which you lose share price on, because a dividend is a taxable event. Now, this has no effect on an IRA, a Roth IRA, a qualified account. It doesn't matter. This is for taxable accounts. That's it, taxable accounts. But it's not just stocks, it's bonds too. In fact, if you look at the Vanguard BND, the ETF, I was looking at that before, every month they pay a dividend, an interest essentially. Well, not essentially, an interest payment every month. And if you see the very following day, the next day the price goes down by the amount of the interest they pay. It's just no other way around that. So every month they're paying something, which means the price will drop every month. Could it recoup the very following day? Absolutely, because markets change, markets fluctuate. But if you go and look at like finance.yahoo.com, that's what I do like about finance.yahoo.com. There's all the, it's not quite as wonderful as I'd like, but they do give you historical price data going back as far as I can see, which I love. And if you look at BND, for instance, Bravo, November, Delta, you'll see the price drops every time it pays an interest payment. And if you look at AIVSX, is that what it is? AIVSX or AISVX? I can't remember. Whatever this fund was, the investment company of America, stock funds pay 4 times a year, basically. Bond funds pay monthly. All right, so just in the back of your mind, most stock funds are going to pay 4 dividends a year. Most bond funds are going to pay monthly. An individual stock will probably pay twice a year for a dividend. A stock fund is going to pay 4 times a year, and a bond fund pays monthly. Not all the time, but generally speaking, that's what you can understand. So if you're going to go into the market for an individual stock, you just got to be careful that you're not buying it the day that they're getting ready to pay that dividend, especially if it's an annual dividend, because the dividend will be pretty high. December is usually, like the example I'm using here is December. December is typically the time most stock funds pay the most dividends for sure. As usual, was it June? Is it March, June, September, and December typically on stock funds? And bond funds generally pay monthly, but individual bonds usually pay twice. But you just got to look at your individual circumstance. The whole point about this, before you buy something, a security, be it an individual stock or bond or a fund or an ETF exchange trade fund, understand when they're getting ready to pay their next dividend, and don't buy it at that point. Don't. I mean, just you got to wait for it to pay the dividend. Now, let's just say they paid a dividend 2 weeks ago. All right, you're fine to buy now. You just don't want to buy it on the day or a couple days before they pay the dividend, because you will be at 99,756, and I will be, or my wife will be at $100,000. And then if you watch this video and I find out you're at 99,756, I'm going to laugh at you. I said, you didn't watch the video. What's up? And you're going to say, well, I called USA or Vanguard or my broker, Ed Jones, and they never made mention of it. Well, I hate to say it, but there is some, I hate to say liability. There's no liability. You know, you could file a complaint. Don't do that. I mean, just, I hate when people, at the end of the day, you got it. This is your money. No one cares about your money more than you. That's just all there is to it. And if you're a broker or a trader or whoever, this is one drawback about online trading, frankly, is I don't even know if there's a prompt before you make the trade. If it says, are you aware you're buying the dividend? I don't know. I hope so. I hope that happens, but I can't validate that because I don't do any trading. So if it's an IRA, again, doesn't matter. If it's a taxable account, it does. It matters big time. You don't want to buy the dividend. Don't want to buy the interest. You want to wait for the following day so the price can drop and you can get it where your lower price, you'll get more shares at a lower price. It'll still be $100,000. I mean, none of this changes in terms of the effectiveness of you buying it. It just means after taxes, if you have a taxable event, you're going to be down. There's no other way around it. So I hope this helps. Don't buy the dividend. It's the dumbest tax you can pay, the easiest one to avoid if you know what you're looking at. We'll see you next time at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.